everyone, welcome to this week's video. Today I'm here with Jimmy and Charlie off camera.
Hello.
And we're going to be discussing my Hexablaumon deck. So this is set 5 because unfortunately our set 6 stuff has been super delayed. But this was also the list that I brought to my store championship and I actually won. I have a picture of my trophy on screen right now. And yeah, this is the deck that I brought to that event that I did really well in, and I just wanted to talk about it, so I'm gonna get started. So the eggs, the Digitama it's fairly simple. We're playing the Hexablaumon. Hexablaumon, once returned, when you attack, if your opponent has a Digimon with no sources, you draw one. It's basically like the best blue Digitama in the game right now, I think.
Aside from Demi-Vmon.
Aside for Demi-Vmon, and Hexablaumon just gets you a bunch of draw cards. Not gonna lie, I forgot to use it half the time because it's like
it's important.
It's important. It gets you that nice draw one, and then for the 5th egg, I played the Wanyamon. When your opponent has two or more Digimon with no sources, the Digimon gets 2k in your turn. It helps because we do play All Force in this deck. I personally, playing through this, I never found Wanyamon to actually be good. I've never found a situation where Wanyamon is good, but I did want to have the 5 eggs because I do want to have as many Lucamon and Goemons on the board for free as possible. So that's why I play the 5 eggs. That's really much it. The Digitama are pretty self-explanatory. Onto our level 3s. We have Goemon here. Goemon is the main reason why I got into the Digimon TCG to begin with. He and Lucamon here, I play 3 copies of each. They essentially have the exact same skill, so I'm playing 6 of the same card, essentially. Basically, it has the inheritable ability. Once per turn, when you trash a source from your opponent's Digivolution line, you gain 1 memory. This is like basically the most important, one of the best memory gain in the entire deck, aside from Sora and Joe. Also, Lucamon is like one of the best Digimon you want to play on top of your Digitama because of like cards like Ultimate Flare. Because since he is a 4 cost, he won't, like if your opponent Ultimate Flares you and you have Lucamon in the stack, it won't die.
So
yeah,
for this, if it's the best card, why only 6 instead of 8?
So I decided to cut down from. I originally was playing 8, but I decided to cut it back because I wanted to include more on-play rookies. So it was at 8, but I decided to make space by cutting down 2. Also, there were some games where during my early testing where I would just have too many of these guys. As much as I love this, I think 3 and 3 is actually a very balanced ratio, and having 6 of a card is like really good. Also, I was leaning towards playing 4 Lucamon and 2 Goemon, but Goemon being a 3-drop is actually really nice because if you have both of them first turn, you can essentially set up a Lucamon in your breeding and then drop the Goemon, so then you have 2 lanes of memory gain. So that's typically what I try to do with that. Next, to continue on with my love for Goemon, we're playing 3 of the 2-drops. They're pretty simple, standard. It's just 2-drop, pretty good. Nothing much else to say. Next is the on-play Digimon that I wanted to include in the deck, and that's Hexablaumon. For those who don't know, he's on play. Reveal the top 3 cards and add a hybrid and a blue tamer. So tamers in this deck are super important. Like Sora and Joe is like kind of like one of the main win cons, I feel. Like one of the main key pieces to help you get to your win condition. And having Hexablaumon search for your win condition is, really good. And not only that, it helps you sneak in Lobomon, which is also another win condition that Blue has. And being able to fetch out like both of them as soon as possible is really good. Like Digimon has a very strange way of handling with their search cards because it always goes through like top 3 or top 5 and never like through the whole deck. Like we don't have a shuffle mechanic in Digimon, I realized.
Yeah, it literally just goes like the top 4 or 5 or whatever.
And then bottom of the deck.
In any order.
and basically you'll never see them again.
Unless you play security control. Maybe.
Unless you play security control.
And then you deck yourself out. And you're like, oh.
But yeah, so I included this here because I wanted more on-play cards. Because, and I also wanted ways to help accelerate my Tamers and Lobomon. And for the last level 3, I played Tusiako for the green matchups. For basically anything that reduces memory. So like against purple, it's really good. They can't use Digimon Evolution for Zwart. I don't know what else really this really hinders. For sure, once
Imperial Jumon.
Oh, yeah, it does help Imperial Jumon. It's just Dial Beamon, right?
No, if you Digivolve on top of the Imperial Jumon, you reduce its cost by 2 because its original cost is 5.
Yeah, so it does have some help, but like once we get the new Betamon, where you can only use game memory from Tamers, I think it's definitely gonna be swapped out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the grade 3s, the rookie lineup. Onto the champions or the level 4s. We're playing 4 Hexablaumon for the 1-drop evolution, and it's also a good blocker. I was playing 1 Grismon, but then I realized that it doesn't really matter if I had the 6k body or not. So I decided I might as well just stick to having the 1 drop cost consistency, because the whole point of this deck is to shoot up into Hexablaumon as fast as possible. So that's really that. Next, I'm only playing 3. How do I pronounce this? Tobiumon, or like I just call it the fish. I was playing 4, but I had to make space for more Lobomons. So he's just a 1-drop vanilla. He's also 3 cost, which is super helpful in case you don't get your rookies. In case you didn't notice, I'm only playing 3, 6, 9, 13 rookies. So sometimes I don't see them, but so having the access to the 3-drop is really nice, especially since it's a champion. You can just keep going from there. Next, I mentioned the aforementioned Lobomon. He steals games. What can I say? He's like one of the. I'm surprised Red doesn't play a Goonimon in the same capacity, because having the hybrid just pop out whenever you're gonna attack is so good. So like set 7 is gonna be nuts when all the colors get it. I think yellow and green are getting it for sure, right? Purple and black don't have it.
They will get in set 7, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think the reason why they don't use it in red is because there's not a lot of red Tamers in the first place.
That's true.
There's
Ty and Marcus.
Yeah.
Ty and Marcus. But I think they should still use it, in my opinion. But that's whatever. And the last champion I play is 2 copies of Paledramon. I actually realize I don't use this as often as I should be. He does have the nice Digivolution effect where if you Digivolve, you trash 2 from 1. But a lot of the times it wasn't, like, it didn't help in any way. For sure, I'm pretty sure once we finally get set 6 in the North America, he's definitely coming out. I was thinking of cutting blockers, but I'm like, no, I think blockers are. I did say before that I was going to cut blockers out, but I think having blockers is kind of important in any capacity. Even though there's going to be, I think set 6 has a lot of removal. I feel. I don't know.
We have to see how the local meta plays.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Because our local meta is very weird.
It's true.
So we'll see.
But yeah, Paledramon I feel is one of those slots in my deck that I feel like could be something else. But at the time of the event, I didn't really have anything else I wanted. Plus, I think it was still important to have the trash too, but a lot of the times it just wasn't as useful as I'd liked it to be. He could potentially be a 1-drop or a free drop depending on how many Gomamons and Blucomons you have, but a lot of the times just kind of but yeah. On to my ultimates, or level 5s. We're playing 4 copies of Chris Paledramon. Now he is definitely much more powerful than Paledramon because he trashes 1 from everything on the board, so it can kind of help out with that. But the important thing is that he has the ability, inheritable ability, where if your opponent has a Digimon with no sources, attack security for 2. So that helps your Hexablaumons clear out the security as fast as possible. Same with your all forces. So there's that. And then to complement it, we're playing 2 copies of Rare Garurumon from the trial deck. Same inheritable ability, but otherwise it's just a cheaper Chris Palegemon in terms of play cost. A lot of the times I find, like, if I'm ever stuck and I choose to hard play one of these guys, I was up for the Garurumon, but yeah, nothing much else to say. And then to the next one, I play 2 copies of Shukakumon, which is basically like my 5th and 6th Hexablaumon. This card saved me like in so many games in my testing and so many games in the tournament. Shukakumon, I think, it should be played at least 1 copy. I opted to play 2 because I really wanted to see him, and it just really helped. It's just too good in my opinion. And then the last ultimate that I play, I tech the 1 copy of Zudomon. I really am glad I played it because in my first round of the champion tournament, to game 1 I lost because he was able to blitz me for game, but game 2 I didn't have anything to Digivolve into, and my first turn I had to hard drop Zudomon to give him 7. But because I did that, the draw 2 basically saved me. I drew I drew a Hexablaumon, so I was able to Digivolve on top of this, and then I also drew my rookie, which allowed me to like play properly the next turn. So Zudomon was such a clutch thing, and not only that, Zudomon's inheritable is also super useful, being able to gain a memory when you attack. So if you parry this with All Force, you just give yourself more plays every time All Force attacks. Yeah. Finally, we get into our megas. We have our boss, Hexablaumon. When you attack, you trash 2 sources from one of your opponent's Digimon, and then if they have a Digimon with no sources, it gets jamming. And then that's really powerful, first and foremost. I personally think jamming is the most broken ability in all of Digimon, in my personal opinion. Yeah, that aside, it also has the most important ability where every Digimon that has no sources cannot attack or block, which is super, super good. I don't know how else to hyperbulate that. He's the reason why I got into this game, next to the Gomon. The fact that Gomon and Hexablaumon can be in the deck there is pretty crazy. And then the backup mega I play is 2 Ulforce, like I mentioned before. Ulforce is just the fact that he can restand by resting is really powerful in tangent with Sora and Joe. Since Sora and Joe actually does not need a target for it to activate, which is kind of crazy that you can do that. So that's pretty much it. So, and if you guys don't know what Ulforce does, when one of your blue tamers suspends, you can unsuspend this, and then once per turn when he's unsuspended, you gain a memory. Very simple. And then to round off the Digimon, we ended off with 2 Blitz Omnis because it seals the deal. Wins games, very similar to Lobomon, where you can just kind of cheat the win out. And that's that. Alright, I'm just going to play the Tamers in the middle here. I play 1 Matt Ishida, the Memory Fixer from set 1. The reason why I played Matt is because I found myself needing to get rid of Digivolution sources without needing to attack. Palegemon is good, but having a Tamer to like be there consistently was super helpful. I think it unfortunately hasn't come up once since this is a change I made before the championship tournament. But I think I did use it in one instance, but it wasn't a make or break sort of situation. It was kind of just like a win more. But yeah, next I play 2 copies of Davis. Helps you search for basically everything in the deck other than Omnimon.
It's Yako.
Why?
Because it's yellow.
Oh, you're right, and Shakokumon, right. He's also a memory fixer. Nothing much else to say. He's the best target for Lobomon to Digivolve on top of. I don't know, I think Davis is pretty much staple in every blue deck. Nothing much else to say. And then to round off my Tamers, we're playing 3 copies of Sora and Joe. I wanted to play 4, but I realized in my testing that there's sometimes having this Tamers clump up in your hand can be pretty bad, especially since all my Tamers are 4 cost. But also by lowering this, it enables me to play cards like Strabimon. So there's that balance there. Sora and Joe, like I mentioned many times, is like I think the best card in the deck next to Hexablaumon and Nomon. Because when a blue Digimon attacks, you may rest it, and you can charge 2 sources off of 1 Digimon, which is kind of huge. So with Hexablaumon and Sora and Joe, you can basically take a Mega and just rip everything out of from underneath it. And then not only that, if you're at the start of your turn, if your opponent has a Digimon with no sources, you gain 2 memories. So it's really strong, and also they stack. So all 3 of them on board, you get 6. That's kind of crazy. And it also partners well with Ult Force, and just enables you to do pretty much everything you need to in this deck. And the last 2 cards, I play 2 options, which are Kokai's Breaths, which belong to Charlie. Spot removal's good. If you don't have access to Kokai's Breath, Superior, what is it called? Superior Cannon?
Supreme Cannon.
Supreme Cannon is also a good choice since you do play the Garurumon, which it comes up. But you do want to have Cookie Breath because it just saves you games sometimes. And that's the deck profile. You guys have anything to add? No? No? Alright. So yeah, if you guys have any comments and feedback you want to give me, feel free to leave them in the comments below. That's been my deck profile. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye. Bye. Thank you.